Oh my God, that's right. We're starting right on time, right on the
Whoa.
ball. Okay, greetings, fellow Armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Goofy, yuck yuck.
And welcome to the So You Want to Be an Imagineer Inside Baseball Show. It is the show where we are going to reveal who has made it into the semi-finals. Now, Goofy, we have another important announcement. Would you like to tell the folks why they should stick around?
Yeah, so we're actually going to have a very interesting uh, thing we're hoping to do live with the final five. So if you are that's going to impact the next project. So if you are a contestant that is in the final seven, then we hope you stick around. Hopefully, you make it to the final five because we would like to have participation from everybody after we announce eliminations following us reviewing the project. So yeah,
All right.
I mean, I don't know why you'd go anywhere else. This is like literally the best place to be. But
um, yeah, we are on time. Monkey
never
says,
happens.
"Let's go." All right, we got Peregrine in the comments. We got Pie. Pie's here. We got Pie. See, nobody cares.
Ace out here asking if I've been eliminated yet. You know what, Ace? You know who hasn't been eliminated yet that I could very easily eliminate right now? It's you, buddy. You might
Oh
want
my
to be
God.
nice to the judge.
All right. Well, I am literally going to set up. If you don't see anything in your diary room yet, don't worry. I'm going to set up diary rooms for the final five to make this selection. But as I am doing that, I'm literally going to just mute myself while Goofy, you regale us with some confessional corner time.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun with confessional corners. Uh, yeah. So the first question was, who is your least favorite contestant? And surprisingly, everybody said Ace, which I would have to agree with. I think that's definitely the best choice. I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding. I mean, everybody knows it already, but we didn't make a confessional corner for that. Anyways, so the first question we had was asking, how do you feel about all the special PMVPs actually getting used? How do you think they've affected the season's gameplay and social politics? And I think that there was kind of a consensus that we all expected that they were fun, but maybe not having the desired effect. Somebody said, I feel like sadly the special PMVPs wound up being a bit of a bust since they were almost all used on space and B. But the zombie one was a fantastic moment, and I agree that was like an awesome moment live and everything. I loved it. Somebody else saying that they uh, they thought that it added some extra fun to the game. You never really knew when you were safe. Thankfully, the special PvPs didn't end up disrupting the game too much. Ace was out of the game for about 8 minutes, which I think was far too short, in my humble opinion.
I actually think, given the circumstances, I think that given the circumstances of like the dropouts that happened at the start of the post merge, I honestly think that the special PO MVPs played out about as well as they possibly could have.
Yeah, they actually gave us a good moment.
Yeah. Like the zombie PO MVP just getting used at all was great because we legitimately didn't think it would. And then the moment was awesome. The kamikaze PO MVP was that was interesting for sure. Like it all just led up to also what I really like about the kamikaze PO MVP is I really do like that dynamic of even if you are PO MVP, you are not sure if you are safe or not. And I think that did play itself out. And I'm happy that I put that in there. Anyways.
Yeah, my favorite part of that was Ace trying to be a nice guy and ended up being a whole total jerk. That was still hilarious. And then my favorite response to that question was, I'll be honest, I still don't quite understand how PMVPs work. I love that response. I laughed whenever I read that. I'm sorry, but it was funny. Um, okay, so the next question was, now that all the project leader slots for the season have been filled, are you happy with how you were able to navigate that part of the game? And there was some kind of interesting thoughts about this. I thought there were a couple people that kind of expressed they thought that they could have done more, or they weren't, super happy with how they performed. Somebody said that they felt all right. They've had some ups and downs, but I'm fairly happy with how I did with that. And but yeah, there wasn't really. It's kind of funny. There wasn't really anybody that was like, "Oh yeah, I killed it as PM. As PM. I know I did a great job." Which I think
Mhm.
that for the most part, everybody did pretty great, and everybody's just their own worst critic. Yeah, you all did great. Don't be so hard on yourselves. Y'all are great, except for Ace. um,
Jesus.
Look, I'm just saying, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. I can't like you're not gonna let me actually eliminate him for being mean to me, so I've got to like
Oh my
do other
god.
stuff to mess with him. I'm kidding. Ace knows he's my favorite. It's a joke. I'm just gaslighting him now.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. So the next question was, with the double elimination looming, how confident are you in your ability to make the semifinals? Um, there was some mess with the goofy, you get the yuck yuck. I can't. Yeah. That's my new slogan. Mess with the goofy, you get the yuck
Oh
yuck.
god.
That's awesome. Okay. Anyways, so with that question,
I
yeah,
could
there were a
just
lot
I
of
could
people.
totally see them selling like a cheesy like shirt of that.
Dude, right? That'd be awesome. Oh my gosh.
The whole uh, there's a bunch of like ironic grumpy shirts, you know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
I could totally
Oh
see
man.
that being in the same kind of genre.
Oh man. Now I gotta get out there on like custom ink and start making some.
Maybe if you custom made one, we could send it to the winner.
Whoa. I love that
I,
idea.
I'm just saying.
That's a great idea.
Let's do
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look
it.
into it. That's an awesome idea. All right, all right. So like I said, the question was about like how confident you are in your ability to make the semifinals with this double elimination. Um, it's kind of an interesting mix of responses. You got people who are like, "I'm really not. I feel like they've had a strong season, but I don't feel super confident with this round." And everyone's been bringing their A game, so just hard to feel a little safe. Um, there was somebody else that said I'm feeling somewhat confident. Last round kind of lit a fire under me, and now's the best time to have that happen. I'm motivated and ready to go for it. Um, Tegan with a great answer, fairly confident considering I am in fact in the semifinals. But she did empathize with everybody that she does feel for the others because she knows what it's like to have a double elimination looming at this exact point in the game, and it's always tremendously stressful. Um, and there were several people who expressed they didn't feel very confident. And then maybe my favorite answer is I've made my peace with it either way. I gambled this round a little bit, and whether it be for better or worse, I'm proud to be where I am. Um, so yeah, I think that y'all have all played very well. I don't remember the last. Okay, well, I mean, obviously we had like 3 rounds of people dropping out, but it's been a hard eliminations. Other than that,
Mhm.
so y'all are all great. It's an all-star season. Whatever happens, happens. But you're all amazing, even you, Ace, even you. Okay, so then we had a couple of really fun questions that I'm excited to read out. And I put names on all these because I don't think there's anything secret in any of these. But so the first question was, what has been your proudest moment of the season so far? Um, and Pies said the gaslighting project
Of
is pretty high
course,
up there.
as it
Although
should be.
exactly, it's like literally my favorite project this season. So ridiculous. Um, Although the Smiling Friends ride that wasn't really a ride, or the Taylor Swift story, are probably my two proudest moments. Smiling Friends for getting to mess with the format of theme park experiences a bit, and Taylor Swift for pushing myself so far outside of my comfort zone and writing what I feel was a strong story. Um, Ace said probably the Broadway project. So many great projects this season that I could give like 5 answers, but I feel like it stands out the most still. Brer gave the best answer, working on Yogi's Wacky Races and Muppets Mountain. Definitely the best answer there. OSU Phantom said that his proudest moment's been winning PO MVP. That was a great feeling.
Mhm.
Um, Tegan said that Tiki called the Backrooms a Mount Rushmore project, and that was an insanely huge compliment that I'm really proud of. Um, Monkey said, seriously speaking, I feel like I have a lot to be proud of this season. The Beaver ride, especially its song, vintage Disneyland mini golf, working more with concept art. At the end of the day, though, I'd likely have to say my proudest moment is the tunnel of Lipschitz, especially the Lipschitz target.
God. I love how everyone basically has like a comedic thing that they're most proud of, and then also like a serious, like actual achievement that they're
Right?
most proud of.
Yeah, I know. It's so iconic. And Peregrine's was simply establishing rock walls as the big bad of the season.
Fair enough.
I love it. I love it. And then our last question was, do you have a favorite holiday-related Disney park memory? Pi said, not a clear memory, but falling asleep on a Disney bus, leaning on my mom's shoulder on our way back to the All-Stars at like 1 a.m. And this is where it gets really weird. While wearing a SpongeBob costume. After Not So Scary, feeling full of happiness and candy is an amazing memory from my very younger days. Ace said, it's all about Figment's Christmas sweater.
That was hands down my favorite answer.
That was a great answer. Brer said that he had a great time going to Disney 1 week for the week after Christmas once. OSU Phantom said he's never been during the holiday season, but doing 4th of July and celebrating his birthday was pretty fun once.
That's totally legit.
Yeah, that's a holiday. There's 2 holidays. Your birthday's your own holiday. Tegan said that whenever she was younger, from like ages 5 to 13, her family always used to go to Disney for the week of Thanksgiving and the week of Easter. For those early couple years, she was fortunate enough to be able to experience Epcot Center with all of its original major attractions. So while not a memory that's strictly tied to a holiday itself, it did take place during the holidays. Nowadays, she always goes in September when it's less crowded. And she has said that she assumes this question has something to do with the semifinal prompt, which is a very astute observation that we will talk about later. Monkey said that he wasn't sure that he has a particular one, but Christmas Fantasy has always been a special holiday touch. And then Peregrine said he took a trip in high school for a student journalism conference with his newspaper team at Disney World. Every time Peregrine talks about his life, it gets like there's a whole other layer. He took a trip in high school for a student journalism conference with his newspaper team at Disney World, and his teacher surprised them with a trip to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, where it was the emptiest he'd ever seen the party.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. They got to see the parade, ride a ton of rides with almost no wait, and to do it with all with some of his closest friends, and many still today. So
I think that legitimately wins.
Yeah, that's a solid memory. I mean, there's a lot of good memories here. That was kind of cool to read.
So I did find it very amusing that my memory actually involves Monkey.
Oh.
He did not list it as his memory.
Oh, that's an oof.
So we were it was actually right after the Christmas Fantasy Parade. And what we had done is we had decided that we were basically going to do the thing where we followed the back of the Christmas Fantasy Parade over to Small World. So basically to kind of like get ahead of the crowd that was dispersing for the parade. And basically like it was just starting to get dark, right? Like just starting to get dark.
Yeah.
And the lights were like, everyone was just like, okay, are the lights going to come on or not? And the lights came on like right as we were about to get on the damn boat, like maybe about 2 minutes before the boat. And the timing of that was just incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I just remember being so stoked and like literally like screaming when it happened.
That's so
also,
cool.
I remember going to Disneyland on Christmas Day one year, and it was really packed, obviously.
Right.
But one thing that was not packed was the Casey Jr. Circus train. Okay. So I ended up just marathoning that thing for basically a whole night. But I swear, you laugh, but that is like, I am super attached to the Casey Jr. Circus train nostalgically. Like I have like, oh my God, a very, very deep rooted love of that ride because of that night, specifically that one night.
That is totally valid. I just never would have expected that somebody would have that much of an attachment to Casey Juniors. But
I absolutely have that much of an attachment to Casey Jr.
I love that.
Monkey knows every time I am in the park with him at night, like it's not like Casey Jr. is the one thing I have to do at night at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Monkey was technically during the holiday season because it was in December, but it was like December like 14th or so I wouldn't really count that. But that was a good time though. I did it was a rainy day at Disneyland, the least crowded that I've ever seen it, bar none to this day. And it was also at that perfect age where I was just I was a little bit too old to still not have not want to do this stuff, but like I had finally worked up the courage. I was about 14 years old. I had finally worked up the courage, like, all right, we're going in, we're doing Splash Mountain, we're doing Matterhorn, we're doing Indiana Jones. All three of those rides I did for the first time that day with like no crowds at all. Yeah, amazing time.
That's awesome. I love that.
All right. Anyways, what's not so amazing?
A lot of things. Do you want me to start listing off like really depressing, like?
No.
I can start breaking the podcast down real fast.
Eliminations.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is
New Horizons saying we got evacuated off 2 rides in the same day. Monkey was with us for the second evac. That was fun. Anyways, so I figure, first of all, with the feedback, I feel like if we talk feedback now, it might perhaps give away where we're leaning as far as eliminations go.
That's true.
So what I am thinking is that we do eliminations now, and then as we are waiting for the prompt stuff to go in, we will talk project feedback. Is that fair?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So Pie on My Cake has nominated Brer Panther, Monkey, and Peregrine for elimination. As you know, in this arena, 4 people are entering and only 2 people are moving on to the final 5. I think it is fair to say that Pie did a fantastic job this round. He will not be eliminated. I think at this point, nobody who was project leader was eliminated in that position. So well done, Pie. Congratulations. You move on with Tegan as part of the final 5. Brer Panther.
OSU also makes it to the final 5.
OSU also makes it to the final 5. And Ace.
Yes.
And Ace.
And wait, hold up. Is that math checkout? Wait, let me see if I can count. Tegan. OSU. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I was doing my best to count and not say who we're moving on. So okay, yeah.
Brer Panther. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of rip the Band-Aid off with this. We are eliminating Brer Panther in 7th place. I think his story this season has been great. A real true underdog story. Unfortunately, I just think this is a case where Nintendo was just kind of like a brick wall for him. And it just did not materialize. And it's a shame because he was really going strong in most of the post-merge. But this round, he just pretty clearly just did not show up for the most part. He did a few things, but, I just think the output was pretty obviously, he was the least active out of the final 7. So
yeah,
that was a pretty... Yeah,
it was a combination of being not as active in brainstorming and stuff, and also whenever you look at how much was put out and a very, very small part of it was Brer's. And even with that, he didn't do that project by himself either. So it was tough, but yeah. But he had a great run.
So now we come to perhaps the hardest elimination of the season, and I know we say that every time, but
it keeps getting harder and harder.
I do think it's genuinely true now, because it's like both these people, Monkey and Paragon, they're both truly like two of the best players of the season.
Tiki and
Paragon,
I disagreed on what to do originally, by the way, just for the record. So it's a hard
Paragon,
elimination.
I feel like Paragon's game has been very much, he came out with perhaps one of the biggest targets on his back. And he came out like really swinging that first round. Like I actually think that his best contribution to the season really was that first project. But I do think he slid a little bit under the radar. He even admitted himself in a confessional that he slid a little bit under the radar. Monkey has had his ups and downs throughout the season. I don't think that on any individual project, Monkey's contribution was the strongest element. That being said, I do think that Monkey's activity has been very consistent. I think on a brainstorming level, he has been by far one of the most active people project to project. So it's tough. I'm trying to, I'm trying to draw the suspense a little here. Because I essentially feel like Paragon is a little bit more, like he has a little bit more of a refined skill set. But I feel like Monkey has had his fingerprints a little bit more on the projects. Mm-hmm. And with that in mind, Monkey, you're moving on to the final five.
Congratulations.
All right, Paragon, I'm really sorry, man. I hate to do it. We are cutting you in sixth place. Honestly, man, like your diary room this time around, when you said what you said about the, laying low and stuff, that is kind of part of the decision. Because I truly think that Monkey has, like I said, he has been very, very active and out front every single round. And he might not have the best output, but I think just the consistency, the number of people he's worked with, I really think that it just really shows, the dedication. And Paragon, you have been great, and this season really showed that you have like obviously we didn't I'm sorry, I'm distracted because now I know that we need to Goofy, why don't you give Paragon his eulogy, and I will send out the private messages to the final five. They're being sent out right frickin' now, people. Check your diary rooms. Go ahead, Goofy.
Yeah, Paragon, you're great. You're amazing. I'm sorry that I couldn't help you win like I did in 1986. You did like Tiki said, it's a tough decision whenever we get down to this close. I wouldn't say that it's so much that the fact that you said that you've been going under the radar. It's just a fact that looking at brainstorming and output and stuff, there have been times whenever it's just felt like Monkey has been more active. Yeah, it was, like I said, tough decision. I appreciate that you are understanding of it. But yeah, you're great. You're one of my favorite people in the community. So, keeping that mysterious person that reveals new layers about his personal history randomly, like, anyways, yeah. So that's pretty much, that's what I've got. And congratulations to our final five, which is, let's see if I can count. We've got Monkey, we've got Ace, we have Tegan, we have OSU Phantom, and we have Pi. That's five. Congratulations.
Good job.
Whew, I was afraid I was gonna mess that up.
Okay. Would you like to start explaining the criteria
for
what they're selecting?
Oh yeah. So what we're doing with this not this last round, but like the final 5 round, which is the semifinals. So we'll go and I guess spoil what the actual project is, right?
Mhm.
The project is that everybody is working on it's kind of like Halloween Horror Nights in Universal, except it's holiday themed, not Halloween, and it is in Epcot instead of Universal. So one of the things that we wanted to do with that is um, is we're going to have you all divide up into very well defined roles. As far as there are 5 roles that are each doing one aspect of the project, and that's all you're allowed to work on, because we want to have the jury have. 'Cause there are a lot of things this season that where it's like multiple people work on a ride or whatever, and it's tough to see who actually did what. And so we want the jury to be able to have at least one thing. And they were in your brainstorming thread this time around. They've seen the credits and everything, but we do want an opportunity for them to see exactly what you did alone. And because the way that we're doing the final 3 selection is that Tiki and I both get to pick one person to move on to the final 3, and then the jury picks the final person to move on to the
Mhm.
final 3.
The jury currently has 5 members in it. We confirmed with Disney Dad that Disney Dad will be involved with the jury. So
yeah, so everybody's good.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah. So, anyways, so what we need you guys to do is there are 5 roles.
And of course, Tegan has already completed it because that's just Tegan for you.
right. Thank you,
Ace has
Tegan.
also got it in.
So what we're asking everybody, and we're gonna try and work on figuring everything out while we're
This is
going to
be messy to try and do live, but like fuck it at this point.
Right. I will try while we're talking to go through and figure it all out, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But so the roles are there is one maze that's going in Future World. There is a maze going in. There's 2 different mazes going in the World Showcase, so each one of those has a role. There is the Merry Meeting Place, which is like, how do you describe it, Tiki?
I would essentially describe the Merry Meeting Place as like essentially what the scare zone would be, except instead of it being a scare zone, it's like a big interactive immersive area that's just filled with holiday cheer and filled with character interactions.
Yes, that works. That's what it is. And then the last role is a amalgamation of entertainment, shopping, dining, and marketing. So what we're having everybody do is we are having everybody rank their preference for which one they would like to do most. And then we will hopefully have something that works out. And if it's tied, then we'll use a randomizer. So that's why we're wanting to do it live.
Monkey,
so
you're literally the only person who hasn't done it yet, so get on it.
So yeah, that is where we are at right now. I'm going to work on trying to figure out how to do this while we get started.
I think literally everyone so far has the same number 1, so we might have to ORG that.
That's fair.
Yeah, literally everyone so far has the same number 1.
Awesome. Okay, well, do you want to go ahead and jump into the actual
we can talk about the project. Yes, we are definitely going to be distracted, folks. I am very sorry about that.
Yes, we are doing the best we can, though.
Let's see. Ace says if I'm a tiebreaker, just give it to the other person. I'm fine moving to the next one on my list. Okay, I will note that, Ace. Thank you. Okay, Monkey has sent his. All right, well, let's start with Smash Brothers, because I do think that is kind of what Peregrine kind of like landed on that kind of got him eliminated, because honestly, it was the hardest thing in the prompt. Is that fair to say?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And ultimately, I think with Smash Brothers, I do think there were some good ideas in there. I do think that we had what I really liked the fact that like at the end of the show we had that big moment where all of the original N64 Smash alumni kind of came into the picture.
Mhm.
But but ultimately I do think the show was a little bit hard to follow.
Yes.
And I had a hard time kind of distinguishing like what was going to be stunts, what was going to be animation.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I was very confused in a lot of it, which made it a little tough to follow. Just as far as like one of the things that like really confused me was like the whole use of a guest in the audience. Um, because like I expected, because it felt like it was building up to something where like the guest was actually going to be a character or
Right,
something,
right.
and then it was just like, oh no, it's just a regular person. Um, which like it's cool, but like it was kind of like I said, like you said, it was just tough to. It was kind of tough to follow. Because I think that's a fair way to put it.
All right, and
But
as we're talking about this, I'm going through and I'm like for
I've
the
got a
ties I'm
spreadsheet that I'm trying to do.
randomizing. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to be as fair as possible, and then we'll see. But yeah, so anyways, I did think that it was cool as far as like bringing all these different characters together and stuff. But like you said, it was tough to follow as far as like, oh, all of a sudden this, the villain is jumping between worlds and everything like that. Um, was something that I was kind of struggling to follow, like you said, because it's like what's supposed to be animated, what's supposed to be actually live action, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's what
Okay.
that's what I've got.
All right.
um,
So let's move on. Metroid Phobia, which is a freaking perfect name for a Metroid ride.
yes.
So I will say, Tegan, I don't think this is your best project of the season as much as you might want it to be. I just think the Backrooms is freaking hard to beat. But
That's
it
fair.
was
Yeah.
really, really good. Um, I will say that I think it's interesting how Tegan basically took what is very much kind of like an open floor plan of Men in Black, or where Men in Black is essentially just city streets, and really turned them into claustrophobic environments.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I thought that this was like really cool as far as like seeing how there was an adaptation of everything. I thought that was like making it try and fit. Although I do think that at the end, the scope kind of got out of hand. And I'm not sure if that's just me misunderstanding the what exactly was happening with different parts of the ride towards the end. But there were definitely points where I was like, where it was like, oh, they're going into another room, and then they're going into another room, and I'm like, I don't think Men in Black has this many rooms. And it may have been that it's just like not having a ride map um, kind of contributed to that. Um, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But it was still a really good project, and I'm glad that you were able to work on it because I know how excited you were about it. Um, Also, Tiki, I'm going to message you because I think I've got it figured out.
Oh, do
Um,
you really?
yeah, we're going to need one randomizer, but everything else I think works.
Okay, okay, sure.
But yeah, so that was kind of my abbreviated take uh, on
I
it.
will say, correct me if I am wrong, Tegan, but was there a moment where you go head to head against the other vehicle?
Oh, I also remember the other thing that I wanted to that I was kind of confused about is I was a little confused about like what's the point of the guns at that point? Like I understand there's no point system or whatever, but it feels like it would have worked just as well just being a dark ride without the shooter element.
I mean, the way I
Um,
see it's kind of like a shooting gallery, right? Where it's like the guns are kind of like to trigger effects.
uh-huh. Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
but can you think of a moment where the vehicles interact with each other? Because that's like legitimately my favorite part of Men in Black, and I can't think of where she incorporated that.
Right. Yeah. She actually said that she didn't include anything about a
Okay.
dueling track.
So I got to admit that is probably the biggest disappointment for me, just because I feel like that was probably the most unique thing about Men in Black as a ride, is that I've never seen a ride where it's like you're literally going head to head against the other car. So I will say that it's a very solid attraction, very much very well written, really gets the creep factor going for sure. I do think that I kind of wish it would have stuck a little bit closer to the Men in Black. Like, I feel like you did as well as you could, but yeah. All right. Still waiting for your message.
I just said it, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, I thought that actually that's a fair point actually, Tegan, that that she wanted to go with the isolation aspect of Metroid and having a head-to-head.
That is a fair point for sure.
That's actually a really good point. Like I said, I think that you did a really good job adapting. I realized that with all of this stuff, it was kind of challenging because we did place some limitations on you all. And like I said, part of it is just that, like, it's a little tough to get a full image of things sometimes. And not by any means saying this is a bad.
Are we sure about
still
this?
A fantastic. Yeah, I think so.
The one that I am hesitant about is who has Merry Meeting Place.
That was their third choice.
It was their third choice. Okay, but is it fair that we're giving it to them, even though I don't know. I kind of feel like what I've been doing in the private chat might make a little bit more sense.
I haven't even been looking in the private chat. That's actually something I should do. Wait, hold up. Folks, we were trying to do this as we're trying to do a show.
So the three that I have in the private chat right now are like the first one in the private chat I randomized because that was literally everybody's first choice. Oh, he does? Oh shit. Okay, yeah. Fuck. My bad.
You're good.
Oh god.
This is the best thing.
Okay, wait, so okay, well I think it's fair to say that Ace, you're gonna have the shopping, dining, entertainment. Yes. Because that was your second choice and nobody else had it higher, so we're going to go ahead and give that one to you.
I will send a screenshot of what I have in my sheet so that everything is shown. Anyways, does anybody else like seeing this look behind the curtain other than Jokers? I know this is super exciting for you all while we're trying to give you feedback. This is tougher than I was expecting it to be.
It's like a show in the making of documentary wrapped up.
Exactly. Okay, check our PM on WDW Magic.
Okay, we're just trying to not screw over anyone.
Yes, that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to make sure everything is as fair as possible. Anyways, so let's see what was next.
Star Fox.
Star Fox, yes. Okay, so I will say one of the things right out of the gate that I was slightly confused about, just because I don't think it was mentioned at all, is
I think we need to randomize Monkey Pie and Tegan for Future World.
We can do that, although the reason that I said not to do that is because if we do that and Monkey wins, then Merry Meeting Place goes to somebody who had it as fourth or fifth.
That's a fair point.
Monkey, all right. How do you feel about Merry Meeting Place?
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and lock it in based on what you said, because I feel like this is fair.
Yeah, so we're trying to give everybody their top three choices. So yeah, we're trying to be fair, guys.
I also feel like Merry Meeting Place. That is something that I feel like could suit Monkey pretty well. Arguably better than a maze, just because I know that Monkey has not done scare mazes, so he might not necessarily grasp the genre as well. So
Sure.
okay.
Tegan, we were really hoping that everybody would have a different number one and it'd be like super easy for us.
I wasn't expecting that. I was
No, I
hoping
wasn't.
for it. But
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either, but it would have been nice. Um, we will wait for Monkey to like confirm that he's cool with it if he's around. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. But we'll get to that by the end of the thing, by the end of our show. Um, so yeah, anyways, what I was saying about Star Fox is that one of the things that kind of confused me a little bit because I remember, we had the whole Waltz Vault deal, and it's supposed to be taking the place of Simpsons, but it didn't necessarily have to be in Simpsons, and that was never specified. So I kind of went off the assumption that it was still in Simpsons just because it didn't say one way or another. Um, I thought that overall, though, it was a pretty solid simulator attraction. I liked the combination of uh, a script and the also the first person kind of this is like we're moving through this area or we flew into this place. I thought that was a good combination. Um, yeah,
yeah, I'll be straight up. I thought this was my favorite part of the whole project.
yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think Monkey and OSU really collaborated very well together. I really like seeing that kind of communication. I really like the flow of this thing. I like that, the location is randomized at the start, and then you have a sequence that everyone experiences, and then you
Mhm.
have like what is Andros going to be like? That is randomized. Like to me, that is a more clean way to do randomization than Star Tours, because with Star Tours you run the risk of like breaking the timeline and stuff with randomization, which is just
Right.
something that's not happening here. And I don't know, I just think it's well written. I think I really like the idea of like, having one floating head Andros, one mechanized head.
Yeah, no, I thought that was super cool that there was randomization, but like there was a story. There was a like a like regardless of your experience, you're still going to get a discernible story. And having the shared scene in the middle, I thought was actually a really cool idea too to
Mhm.
bridge the unique options on either side of it. Um, yeah, and also the addition of the Corneria confections was awesome. I thought that was a really fun idea. That was like, yes, this looks like some solid cupcakes and cookies. I'd go there.
Yeah, it was pretty well thought out. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool area, and that was something else that actually made me because it says locating the former location of the Quickie Mart, but I don't know if that means that that area just stayed the same and they just rethemed or not. But not a huge deal. Just something that I noticed. But yeah,
So,
great
Monkey,
show.
one thing I want to emphasize with the Merry Meeting Place is that it's not necessarily a scare zone, and I think that there's a lot of opportunities you could do with it to make it kind of like above and beyond what a scare zone would be. Like I said, I think character interactions are going to be a big key here because obviously, especially because Disney does have access to a lot of different characters. So and character interactions in general are very popular with Disney. So I would say something like, just try and come up with an atmosphere. Like that's really what we're looking for. Um,
Yeah. Tegan, on that, Walt's vault, OSU had the Walt's vault that meant that he could theoretically just use the location in Universal of the Simpsons ride, but he didn't necessarily have to use the building. Everybody else was required to use the building.
mm.
Um, so yeah, that was like I said, that was the only reason that was a confusing thing, just because I didn't know if he chose which one he chose to do. But yeah,
So Monkey, I think I am going to go ahead and give you the Merry Meeting Place. I hope you're okay with that. The only reason we're doing that is because you're the only one who ranked it in your top three. Um, like I said, I'm just trying to make it like I do genuinely think that it has the potential to be the most unique component of the project because Christmas mazes are unique, but there's been like Christmas tree trails and stuff like that. So it's like we've kind of seen it, but with the Merry Meeting Place, I truly am looking for something that that actually really goes outside the lines of. And also, I feel like you have the freedom to put it anywhere in the park. It could be in Future World, it could be in World Showcase, it could be anywhere. So that's
Yes.
I hope that is something that that makes it a little bit easier. I will also say don't be afraid to put in like if you need to put in like a small show or something to to pad out what you're doing. That's fine. I know that Ace is in charge of the entertainment, but Ace with the entertainment, I'm kind of more expecting like a nighttime spectacular or something. Not saying you have to do a nighttime spectacular, just saying like because obviously with Ace's role, he's got a lot of different moving parts to what he signed up for.
Right. Basically, this is like revamping Festival of the Holidays in a lot of ways.
Essentially, yes. The
Even though with
entertainment
Festival of
this
Holidays
round
I
is
love,
me.
but like, yeah, yes, you are working present day Epcot. Like 2023, Iger's back, Chapek's gone. Iger's like, you know what really needs to change at Disney? We need to take away Christmas and make it something new, but still Christmassy. That's his one big change.
I would just love if you just stop that sentence right at we need to take away Christmas.
We need to take away Christmas. That's it.
And that was Iger's Grinch origin story.
That'd be so wild, man. Everybody celebrates whenever he comes back, and it's like, no, he's actually like become really bitter in retirement.
Oh my god. There's just like no holiday stuff this like 2023 at all. Nothing.
Oh my gosh. If you buy a
Mansion holiday.
if you buy a Genie Plus, then you can see a small Christmas tree outside of one of the
parks. God.
No Christmas enters these gates.
All right. Okay, so really quick with the rest of the feedback, we'll kind of power through it a little bit.
Yes, and then we'll do
Zero, I did think was really, really solid. I think it was perhaps a little bit too close to Test Track, like with
that's
the
what I thought.
But the roller coaster elements were well written. I don't think it's as good of a roller coaster as the one that Space did for Dollywood, but that's a tough act to follow. Jokers, I'm actually really curious what you thought of the Earthbound project because I really liked it, but I am not a diehard Earthbound guy like Jokers is.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I thought it was a cool idea. I thought the merchandising as well with the Mr. Saturn was kind of an interesting idea as well.
You know what I actually thought was a little bit of a disappointment this round was I thought the Pikmin stuff was a little bit undercooked.
I mean, we kind of expected that was going to end up being an oversight.
I really was hoping it wouldn't be just because of how not an oversight the interactive stuff in, Super Nintendo World proper is.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I mean it's a good idea as far as like having an app and stuff that you can interact with these things, but there definitely could have been more there. But
I actually think that Mr. Saturn probably was a better like land wide thing that had more of a presence.
Oh yeah, I agree. Totally. Joker said that he really liked the Earthbound attraction. He thought that Pi was the perfect person to write it, and Saturn Valley made the most sense for the facade and surrounding areas. There were some inaccuracies, but that's going to happen when you haven't played the game before. Definitely captured the spirit of the game well.
All right.
He also loved how committed Pi was to Mr. Saturn.
Yeah, for sure.
I did too. I thought it was really cool. And then I think that we skipped over Luna Look Around. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about.
No, but I do like the fact that they did just reskin Kang and Kodos.
Right. That's what I was going to say. That I liked the concept of, like their first sentence, right? Is that like, guests board their gondolas, which appear to be made of star bits and lifted by Loomis. Each gondola has a different
I mean,
colored
just
pair
that
of
visual
Loomis.
alone is adorable.
Oh
So
yeah, I know. I loved it. I loved the
yeah.
drawings. Like I said, I thought it was really cool. It's definitely an elevation on King and Kodos. So yeah, I thought that was a solid project. And again, this was Brer and Monkey. Off the top of my head, I don't remember how much each of them did, but yeah, it was a solid project. It's just for Brer. Whenever there's so much going on everywhere else, there needs to be more, I guess. Although speaking of, there was a ton here. I opened it up like a couple of hours ago because I was busy this morning, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is like an 80 some
Yeah,
odd page project."
but after that Nicktoons project, though, like
Oh
nothing
yeah,
is
for sure.
as
No.
daunting as that.
Right. That's totally fair. Yeah, I did like. I thought this was a solid project. Yeah, this was a great job all around, as always. I feel obligated to thank. I guess it was OSU fans that did this. Thank you for the map. I always appreciate a map. But yeah, so yeah, great job, everybody, and congratulations to our final five. And I think our last order of business is randomizing who gets the Future World Maze and who gets the Second World Showcase Maze.
Oh, do we have to do? Okay, who's it between?
Between Pi and Tian.
Okay, well, you know what? We can actually. Do you want to flip a coin for that instead? I feel like that would be more dramatic.
We could flip a coin, yes.
Okay, hold on. Oh my god. Because I have a good coin to flip. I have my 1964 65-year-old's fair coin.
Ooh.
Look at that. Look at that. The Unisphere.
Look at that. Ooh, okay, so what's on the other side?
The other side is, what is the pavilion on the other side? It's it's not anything exciting, honestly. It's
okay,
not anything.
So somebody call Unisphere or Not Exciting Pavilion.
It's the it's the New York State exhibit. So it's, it's something.
Okay. Who
All right, Tegan, heads or tails, Tegan?
Which one's heads?
This is heads.
Okay, the Unisphere's heads. Okay.
Yes. Or OSU. Heads. Okay, Tegan called heads.
Pi. It's between Tegan and Pi.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Tegan called heads. And it is heads.
Woohoo!
All right. So what does that leave us with? What's the final roster?
All right. So, and we'll put this in the brainstorming thread and everything. But Tegan will be working on the Future World Maze. Pi will be working on one of the World Showcase mazes. OSU Phantom will be working on the other World Showcase maze. Monkey will be working on the Merry Meeting Place. And Ace will be working on entertaining, shopping, dining, and marketing.
Right.
So yeah. And just to reiterate, we do still want you guys to have some level of communication.
We're going to set up we are going to set up a brainstorming thread. Obviously you guys are now pretty much in direct competition with each other, but we still and I am making a point in the prompt. I'm actually going to I actually think the stuff that I sent you in the prompt does make a point that if your project feels out of place with the rest of the contributions, that's up to you to communicate to your team and get on the same page. So it's like, guys, like the jury can vote however they want, but like with Goofy and I, at least with me, it's going to be like, if your project is really good, but it feels out of place, that's definitely going to be a mark against you. So like, I want to make sure that everyone is getting on the same page with this stuff.
Yeah, this is kind
Um,
of the transition from the team to the individual phase. We're kind of in between those right now. Um, so
well,
yeah,
to be fair, we're going to go back to team for the final project.
that is correct. I forgot about that. Yes. So this is a
Yeah, so
transition
you
from
want
the
to be
team to
Imagineers
back
is
to
weird
team.
like that. It's got a weird structure.
Yes, I am a professional. So you want to be an Imagineer judge? Yeah, I did all my training and preparation for this ahead of time. I'm definitely well qualified to be here. Yes. Anyways, you were trying to stand out because you were trying to impress me
Can
and
you
Tegan
list those
and the
roles
jury.
off one more time?
Sure thing. So Tegan is working on the Future World maze.
Hold on one
Pi.
sec. Hold on one sec.
Okay. Could just type it out in our message.
Yeah, but I know, but I'm literally like I'm writing out the prompt for the main
Okay.
board right now. Okay, Pie on My Cake has World Showcase Maze number 1. I think I know
OS.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
OSU
Um,
has. Okay, go
Tegan,
ahead.
not entirely. Tegan asked if semifinals are being judged solely on the semifinal project.
I mean,
No,
I would say for the most part, yes.
they right. Like there's it's a kind of yeah, like it's definitely the most important thing. Just like in any given round, our elimination starts with looking at the contributions to that week's project. Um, it's probably more important this round um, because we have everybody having individual roles, but I would not hold it against. I'm not going to make any promises that if it's really close between people and it's my turn to pick somebody to go to the finals, that I'm not going to consider their past contributions as well.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, the goal should be to do as good as possible with this because this is definitely like going to be the most important thing that me and Tiki and the jury are going to be considering, but it's not like the end all be all. Um, yeah.
All right, I just posted the prompt up on the main thread. I also have some memes about the Final Five that I think you guys might be amused by if you want to go
Ooh,
check those out.
I do want to go check those out.
Ace Astro is just a picture of Kermit the Frog sipping tea and just saying, "I don't do drama. I just stay in my lane and sip my tea." Monkey very appropriately is Dennis Hopper from the Super Mario Brothers movie, just going monkey. Pie on My Cake, very appropriately, just a dramatic, old-fashioned gaslight.
I love that.
OSU, meanwhile in New England, we're about to go to Dunks. Want anything? And it's a picture of Luke and Han on Hoth, just frozen. And then Tegan might be my personal favorite. It's a picture of Cruella de Vil and then a tweet that says, the fact that the Cruella movie doesn't have a sad cover version of Who Let the Dogs Out in a minor key for its trailer or for that opening death scene is just a huge missed opportunity.
Yes. This is fantastic. All right.
And then, of course, for Peregron, I made a little post on Peregron, and I gave him a rock wall.
I mean, that's like the most memorable thing. I love it.
All right. So, oh yeah, and only 4 days for the prompt, guys. Yeah, that is one thing you should note. The projects are due on Wednesday.
Yeah. So
because this past project was pretty quick, or I'm sorry, this past project was pretty long. Mm-hmm. And honestly, you guys got it done pretty quickly. Like there were a couple like days.
It did feel like it could have been done a couple days earlier.
Sure. Right. So it's like with everybody just having the one standalone thing to do. Yeah, I think 4 days is fair.
Yeah, I agree. I think that y'all are gonna have some fun. Yeah, that's actually a good question. Oh yeah, space. It's a great idea. We should make it do on Pi Day. All right, you guys have 3 days. No, I'm kidding. We're not gonna.
God. No, Tegan, actually, I can answer that. I am expecting you guys to put everything into one project, and that's going to be on the team as a whole to decide who does that and who's your, and like, so I am expecting just one document to be able to read everything. Just
like,
go ahead and make it a Google Doc.
Yes, don't stress too hard about the presentation. It like does not matter compared to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so um, yeah, good luck. If you guys have any more questions about the project or anything, I
Yeah,
think
I'm
we'll
kind
try
of
to
just
be as
keeping on air just to make sure
clear.
that we don't have questions.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we're doing what we can. I'm pretty impressed we were able to get this thing figured out on air. So I hope that the review wasn't too terrible to listen to. But yeah, you guys did you all did great. Congrats to the final five. I'm still very proud of each of you. You guys are like my children. And I can't pick a favorite, but I'm going to have to whenever I move one of you to the final three. So
Who is your favorite?
I'll tell you who my favorite isn't.